Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Many of you know that I went to law school. What you don't know is that coming out of undergraduate with almost a 4.0, I had full scholarships going into law school. And they weren't scholarships because I was black. No, I didn't get any of that stuff. I've never benefited from being black, ever. I was never given a job because I was black. I competed with Asians and white people all my life. And when I say I competed, I mean that all of my scores, all of my experience were at a level that I had to compete with the best of the best, right? And there was no, well, he's black, give him the job or give him the money or anything like that. Never. I am upset. No, I'm kidding. I did very well. For most of my life, I did very well. So when I say I competed. And I was number one in a lot of things. So I don't begrudge anybody, any Asian or white person who says they really have to compete. Well, I competed too. So I went to law school, but my scholarships only lasted for 2 years. Law school is 3 years. So I need $100,000 to finish my law degree. Now, I gave up on it. I said, whatever, it'll never happen. But so many people have told me their stories after hearing that I was in law school and I just need some money to go get my degree and then come back and be a lawyer, that they have begged me, please be a lawyer and please come help me because I am in this situation and there's no lawyers who will take my case. They don't care about that. Something like 99% of the lawyers are in some sort of firm where they have to make oodles of money every hour. And even the pro bono cases, the stuff that they do, is from people who have money. So it's almost, if you understand what I'm talking about, you know it's a corrupt sort of thing. We're going to do this for free, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But it's not really for free, and it's not for people who would need free legal help. So I've really been thinking about finishing up my degree, passing the bar in a few states, because I'm with the law school in Louisiana, so I know the Napoleonic codified law, and I know common law, which is the rest of the country. So I want to talk about what's going on in politics in Trump. Now, I want to tell you, judges, I could be appointed a judge if somebody just appointed me. You don't have to have a law degree to be appointed a judge. Judges do not have unlimited power to just declare stuff. I want to tell you that Trump messed up. He did. All of the court cases leading up to the election, he made a gamble. And for him, the gamble paid off. But in the process of this gamble, it destroyed the law. What am I talking about? So the Democrats farmed out these cases, quote unquote cases, to various districts and various judges. And then they picked the judge, and the judge agreed that this is what he's going to do. And that's what the Democrats did on their side, right? On Trump's side, Trump said, hey, this is what's going on. I can go through with this. I will be number one story in the news for the entire time. I don't have to pay any marketing to publicize that I am running for president. That's his gamble, right? So his gamble was, I will go along with this stuff for the benefit of winning the election almost for free. And if you saw the elections, you saw that Trump spent like 1/10 of the amount that Biden and then Kamala Harris, who inherited the thing. You all may not know this, but I campaigned for Kamala Harris because they paid me. And when I say I campaigned for her, that's what they hired me to do. What I really did was I went out and had discussions with people, just like I'm doing right now. But I got paid to do it. I met an actual Kamala Harris campaigner, and they volunteered to walk around in the Las Vegas sun for free, and they were happy to do it. Kamala Harris inherited Biden's treasure chest for the campaign, and it was literally 10 times as much as Trump. His gamble was, I'll go along with this and I will be the number one news story for the entire time. Not only did he do that, but when he did take interviews with the leftist mainstream media, he says, you all were doing terrible until I came back on the scene. Now you're doing great in your ratings. I'm going to go away and be president, and your ratings are going to drop. And of course, he predicted all of that, right? All of that is completely factual. Here's the problem. None of those cases, not only did they not have merit, there was no facts, there was no evidence, there was nothing. In fact, the one in the New York where they said that they actually convicted him was so out of whack that the district attorney the state district attorney would not bring the case. Although he was an avid anti-Trump person, all right? But Letitia Jackson brought the case, right? And then they convicted him, right? And somehow they tied Trump to the case, although Trump wasn't the one that actually did anything. It's kind of like the Wesley Snipes case. They said, Wesley Snipes, you are guilty of tax evasion. Wesley Snipes didn't do anything. At that level, it's not like you or me, right? It's not Shakaama avoiding taxes. Shakaama pays a guy who pays a guy who pays a guy who pays another guy who runs the entire show of my name brand, household, everything. You know, Hollywood stars are all incorporated, right? It's not Wesley Snipes. It's Wesley Snipes Incorporated. So they're each tiny corporations running around, or large corporations running around. So it's not Wesley Snipes avoided paying taxes. It's the guy, that person, and everything that what was told to Wesley Snipes is correct. The Supreme Court has held that paying taxes is a voluntary thing. The Supreme Court has held you paying taxes is a voluntary thing. The problem is the Supreme Court saying this is completely ignored by the rest of Congress and the presidency, right? Up until this year. Completely ignored. So then the FBI or the IRS comes in and arrests you. All of a sudden now they have guns and badges and all that sort of stuff. Because the Democrats have just gone completely, actually it's the Fed, right? The Fed has gone completely drunk with their own power. And so now they have armed IRS agents. They have armed accountants. The IRS is an accounting agency. They have given guns to accountants who historically are not trained and licensed in the entire scope of, I have a gun and I'm going to go approach a common citizen. That's not their, right? That's not their lane, right? You understand? But they have ignored what the Supreme Court said. And the Supreme Court, of course, is reading the entire historical documentation concerning taxes in the United States. They've completely ignored that and said, no, we're going to come and arrest you because you didn't pay us the taxes that we say you owe us. And year after year after year, they've lowered the people who are supposed to pay taxes. First, it was the super duper rich corporations. Then it was the super duper rich businesses. Those are two different things. Then it was the super duper rich people. And once it got into the people part, then it just started snowballing down here, just going down here. To the point where now if you make 1 penny, the U.S. government wants to tax you on that penny. If you make, let me be very clear. Theoretically, if you make 1 penny, the U.S. government, as it stands right now, wants to tax you on that penny. Sure, they're not going to get anything, but legally speaking, that's what they want. That is crazy. That means you cannot be poor in the United States. That means you cannot just be poor in the United States. You just cannot just go make $30,000 a year. You can't. The U.S. government is going to come and tax you on that $30,000. Every sane person in the United States, and it doesn't matter where you live. You can live in the most low income area, state, city, town, village. They want to come and tax you, right? And you have to pay them because they're going to come with IRS agents with guns, which is ludicrous, which is diabolical, right? Think of any historical movie you've ever seen. The tax man always was a person that came literally with a bag and said, all right, put your gold coin in here. All right, bye. Otherwise, later on, the king is going to come with his soldiers and then they are going to do whatever, right? Not the tax man. He just runs around and collects the taxes. And not only that, historically speaking, the rogues would beat him over the head and take his bag full of gold. That's the historical representation of the tax man, right? Never did the tax man have a gat. Never did the tax man was he packing, right? Packing heat. He didn't have a gun. That was not a thing. He is an accountant. He sits behind the desk all day. And in the modern era, he doesn't go door to door. You all just send him your gold coin. So the Supreme Court says you're just volunteering to pay taxes, legally speaking. So we have held. And if the Supreme Court says something, it's supposed to be the law, correct? No. The Fed and the Treasury disagree, and they send people out with guns to come collect your taxes if you don't do what they say. And the entire situation, the entire circumstance surrounding it is completely crazy. They don't tell you how much they think you owe. They say, you tell us how much you owe, and if you get it wrong, we're going to come and send the people. We're going to show up at your house with guns. That's insane. That doesn't make sense in anybody's book. And going back to $30,000 a year, no sane person thinks $30,000 a year is enough to live off of in 2025. You're going to need like 2 or 3 roommates. I get why these women say, I need a man who makes 6 figures. Honey, depending on where you live, 6 figures is almost like $30,000 in poor areas, poor states, depending on where you live. And normally they're standing in some big, huge city. You're not worth $100,000 to begin with, but let's not talk about that. You're a 2 talking about you need a man with 6 figures. Trump messed up. He agreed to go along with a charade that the courts actually can tell a president what to do. He got his pound of flesh because he got in the news cycle unending for the entire campaign. All it would take would be him or his lawyers or whatever to say, you do not have jurisdiction. Let's go directly to the Supreme Court and end this right now. But also, the Supreme Court was pussyfooting around and saying, oh, I don't know if we want to even hear this. Oh, I don't know. And on this particular question, everything seems okay. Yeah, you better listen to them. On this particular question was something so minor that had nothing to do with the overall question. But that's what they were doing. They were gambling that they will go along with these court cases so that they could be in the news nonstop for the entire campaign season. Now we come to he's sitting in the White House. Now we come to he's ordering the troops to do this and that. Now he's sitting in the White House telling our border security to do this and that. And these same judges are coming up and said, no, you can't do that. You don't have the authority to do that. But the problem is he gambled on being in the news cycle, and now the judges are confused. They're not confused, trust me. That they can order a president to get in between a president and literally the enumerated powers in the Constitution. That's how much he destroyed the law because he made that gamble. So now you have this problem where you have these judges trying to stop him ordering troops, ordering stuff in the military. The secretary of the military is ordering stuff, and the judges are saying, "Oh no, you can't do. You're a judge. You're supposed to hear cases. You're not supposed to be eating. You're not king. This is not your lane." But because of what Trump did, it messed up the entire legal system. Now you have to remove these judges, and the problem is, to remove the judges, really, you have to go to the Supreme Court and says, we need to have this judge removed because he's just trying to make kingly decrees from his bench. But the problem is, the judiciary is going to protect the judiciary. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They're going to protect their own. So now the Supreme Court, I guarantee you, they're going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court goes, no, we're not going to remove the honorable judge, whatever, right? Because he's a judge just like us. You might try and impeach us, which is possible. So it would take Congress and the president agreeing. And of course, you have the Democrats sitting on the other side saying, no, you traitors would be impeaching judges. That is against the law. No, that is not against the law. And they would get the weakest of the weak Republican senators and congressmen to go along with their side. When the judges don't have the jurisdiction just to make decrees and say, no, stop, you can't order the military around. Oh my God. It is a mess. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I hope you understood what kind of mess Trump created. Yeah, he won, and he played fast and loose with all of this stuff, and he played the Democrats, yeah, and they played right into his hands, yeah, but in the process, he broke all the vases, all the chandeliers, all the wine glasses, all the good china. He broke everything, which he did not have to do. He was going to win either way. Among the other 5,000 degrees I have a degree in politics and history. He was going to win anyway. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to destroy the law just so he could be number one in the news cycle. He was going to be number one in the news cycle regardless. The Republican convention was all like, yeah, anybody else going to run against Trump? No. All right. Okay, I guess he's the man. All right, guess he's it. Let's go. Yeah. Right? They had their convention and he was the nominee. That was going to happen. Everybody knew that. And then he ran against Joe Biden. And that ship sailed all the way into the point where they actually got in front of the camera, man to man, in the debate. And they said, oh my God, this guy is a mess. And they pulled him, what was it, a week later? I was actually campaigning for Biden. I actually had a job campaigning for Biden. And when they removed him, we were up in arms what we're going to do. Then we got the message that Kamala Harris inherited the money, which was completely illegal because we were told that's not legal. She has to go out and raise her own money. The money that Joe Biden raised was for Joe Biden. And all of those donors were for Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. Then they pulled all sorts of shenanigans to not only make her the nominee, which was completely illegal, and number two, take over Joe Biden's campaign funds. Completely illegal. So I was on the inside of all of that stuff. And day one, everybody told me, I'm not voting for her. Everybody. We asked the quote-unquote campaign is a third-party campaigning company. We talked to everybody, Republicans, independents, non-compliant or whatever you want to call them, agnostics, and Democrats. They all said no, absolutely not. The only people who said yes were black women. I'm sorry, 50% of black women. The poll numbers coming out that black women are universally voted for Kamala Harris is a lie. Or maybe they just didn't go vote at all. But from my internal polling, 50% of the black women were like, oh my God, no. First of all, she's not even black. As much as they keep trying to say this Indian woman is black, she's not black. She's Indian. Nothing wrong with being Indian, but she's not black. And they're trying to lie to black people and get black people to vote for her by telling them a lie. No, I'm not voting for her. And it turned out how it turned out. I already knew I was going to turn. Day one, I already knew. And not only that, but we took thousands of Uber rides. And so I got to speak to thousands of drivers who said the same thing too. I knew she was not going to win. Me saying that says that Trump did not need to destroy the law by going along with this hoax of these court cases. And the one stemming out of Mar-a-Lago, where we were going to go rescue the documents. Come to find out. And they said, Joe Biden is president. He can do whatever he wants. Okay. So Trump was president. He could do whatever he wants with his documents. And to this day, Obama has all of his documents. 30,000 of them. Come to find out, day after Biden stepped down, left office, and Trump got in, another story broke that Joe Biden had also broke the document laws. And they did not go after him. Why? Because he pardoned himself, I believe. Is that it? Something like that. So he kept breaking the law, but nobody brought any sort of cases against him. Nobody's brought any cases against any president since Nixon. Everything that Trump did has been going on since Nixon. Nobody has ever brought a case. The FBI storming Mar-a-Lago, knowing full well everything, and going into Melania Trump's bedroom and ruffling through her underwear, which is crazy, and then the boy ruffling through his underwear. What is going on? And then a case stemming from that, and then the prosecutor in the case is so illegal that they're talking about prosecuting him. That entire thing was illegal. The whole kit and caboodle, all illegal. But Trump gambled, I should go along with this, and I will be the number one story on the news for free. But he didn't need to do that. Now you got these judges, and the people are convinced, the liberal people are convinced, well, they did that during the campaign. They brought cases against him during the campaign, so they should be able to say whatever while he's president too, right? This is what that creates. You have people who don't know anything about anything. They're not adults. So they believe these judges are A-okay. How dare Congress try and impeach judges? How dare Trump trying to remove judges? How dare they? It's illegal what they're doing. And then they talk about, well, you have the checks and balances between the different branches of government. Yes, the judiciary does judiciary stuff. The executive branch does executive branch stuff. The Congress, the legislature, does legislative stuff. And they've even said, tell you what we can do. We don't even have to impeach the judge. We can just cut off his salary completely. And when they say cut off the salary, they mean they can cut off all of the money going to even fund that building. So there's no office, no courthouse, no judge seat, nothing. No bailiff pay. Nobody in that building gets paid. Nobody. They can do that. Why? Because that's the checks and balances. The legislative branch has the power of the purse, and they're talking about using it. Why? Because that is their check. You want to do illegal stuff? You want to try and be commander-in-chief in front of the commander-in-chief? Know your role. Somebody has to bring it. Not only that, they brought cases for illegal immigrants, and there was no illegal immigrant in the case. To bring a case, you have to be a participant in the whatever you're complaining about, right? They stole my car. You're saying that they stole your car? Yes. Okay, we're going to go to court and you're going to come with us. Okay. They cannot say, they stole Shakaama's car. Okay, where's Shakaama? Oh, he's on vacation driving his car. But I thought you said they stole Shakaama's car. Yeah, it turns out they gave it back. But they stole it. Honest. Trust us. No, you can't do that. The car has to be stolen. I have to press the charges, and then they come to court, and then the court says, all right, show me the proof. That's not what's going on here. The judges are literally getting filings by the Democrats and saying, we need to stop Trump from doing this. And then he goes, yes, Trump, stop doing that. And it's involving the military, the border. This is literally stuff that's outlined in the Constitution. They don't have the jurisdiction. They don't have the power. They don't have the authority to do that. But the average person, an average Democrat, believes that they do because Trump went along with it during his campaign. There you go. Thank you all for watching.